Okay, number 5, Petro, can you read this for us, please?
Number 5?
Yep.
The U.S. Bureau of the Census predicted that the population of Florida will be about 17.4 million in 2010 and then would increase by 0.22 million per year until 2015. Which of the following linear models predict the population Y of Florida in millions in terms of X, the number of years since 2010?
And your answer is?
C.
C. Do we agree with him?
Yeah.
Good. What does the 0.22 mean? Increase of 0.22 million people per year. Good. So a negative would mean a decrease of population. Good. And then the 14.7, don't forget this is in million. Okay, because they said here. Good. So actually, let me the key right here as well is say this equation models years since 2010. So if I want to figure out what is the population in 2011, what number should I plug in for X? Okay, think about that for a second. Should I plug in 2011 in here? Well, let's see. If we plug in 2011, let's see what we get. Where's my calculator? Right here. Okay. If I plug in 2011 in here, 0.22 times 2011 plus 17.4, I get this number. Does that mean there's 459.82 million people in the U.S.? Okay. So Petro, what number did you say we should plug in here? 1, because again, this is an equation based off 2010. So how many years passed since then? 1. So when you put 0.22 times 1 plus 17.4, you get this, 17.62 million. That sounds more reasonable. Okay. Otherwise, there's not enough land for all those people. Okay, number 6. Suppose that a bike rents for $4 plus $1.50 per hour. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. Haley, can you tell me number 6, please? Number 6, y equal? Good, 150x plus 4. Right, because this is the hour and this is your startup. So using this equation, 2 hours, that means I'm going to sub it in for x right here. How much is, so $1.50 per hour, I write it for 2 hours, that's 3. Don't forget, there's a rental cost. So 3 plus the 4, that means it's $7. Okay. For 4 hours, same thing. Okay. $1.50 times 4 is $6. $6 plus 4, 10. Okay. So a mistake that I saw people do in the past is they were doing from here and then they were adding another 4 and then they were adding another $4 and then another $4. So by here they end up paying like $16 extra. Okay. Remember, this is a one-time cost, one-time fee that you apply at the beginning. Okay. Okay. And you can so since this is a linear relation, without doing this math, I should know what the next number is. What is 13? And the next number? Right, that's because you can see the pattern. 3, 3, and 3. Right, your first difference. Okay. For each of these questions, it's so meaningful. There's so much to talk about for each. So my first difference right here is 3. But how come that's not my slope? How come my slope is not 3 here? How come it doesn't match up? My first difference is 3, but how come my slope is 150 and not 3? Brianna? No, that 4 is still right here. Antonia?
Because the difference from all the x's is 2.
Right. Notice here it's by 2's. So what is 3 divided by 2? 150. Okay, so your first difference is 3 here, but that's because your x goes up by 2. So remember, slope is difference in y divided by difference in x. So 3 divided by 2, you do get that 150. Okay, and also if I were to go backward one more row, when x is 0, what is this? 4. Where do we see that 4? Y-intercept. You see how everything like connects together now? Okay, so there you go. Your slope and your y-intercept. Okay. Number 8. In order to join a yoga club. Actually, I don't want to read. Sophia, can you read for us? Number 8.
In order to join a yoga club, if fee is $100 annual fee and $5 fee for each class you attend. Write an equation with slopes intersects from the model this equation.
Okay, and your equation is y equal 5x plus 100. Good. Okay. So even though this right here is just like annual means each year, and then this also means each class, but the question should have said write an equation in slope-intercept form to model this situation for the year. So technically, it should be more specific and say for the year, so that you know this is your flat rate. Okay, number 9. Annie. Number 9.
Why is 2
Now, can you read the question for us first?
Calendars designed a calendar as a fundraising project for math class. The cost of printing is $500 plus $2.50 per calendar. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that models the total cost of printing the calendar. Y equals 2.50x plus 500.
Okay. Now, since this is a word problem, I want to be more creative and not use x and y. So I could use t for total cost, and then maybe c for number of calendars. So this means the exact same thing, but instead of x and y, I use t and c. Okay, each calendar will sell for $5 each. Write the equation for this using y for income and x for calendar. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this one has no starting cost. This equation has no starting cost. It's not saying it's 5 right here. This was your cost. This is your sale. Okay, so these are two different equations. Right, and then here, because there's no charge to like entrance fee or anything to buy, it's just y equals 5x. Okay. Cameron estimates that the math class will sell 200 calendars. What will the total cost be? Okay, so the total cost. So which one should I use if I want to find the total cost? The first one. Yeah, total cost. That's why I changed the variable over here, so that you guys can recognize that it's the total cost. So these two are two different equations. So t equals 250 sub in the 200 for calendar, and then plus 500. So the total cost to make 200 calendars, 250 times 200 plus 500, it's gonna cost them $1,000. Don't forget units. If you forgot units, half a mark off. Okay. 12. Any. Every time you pick up that phone, I'm gonna ask you. Number 12.
Cameron estimates that the math class will sell 200 calendars. What will be the total income be?
And since this is income, that means I'm going to use this equation. So how much is it going to be? And I'm going to replace that x with 200. So 5 times 200. What's my unit? Dollars. Okay. Good. So here's the concluding sentence. Determine how effective the fundraising project will be. Is it going to be a profit? Is it going to be a loss? What do you guys think? So who thinks this is a great fundraising idea? Who thinks this is a horrible fundraising idea? Okay, why do you think it's horrible? Yeah?
No profit and loss.
Okay, but well, maybe people really they're trying to make a profit as a fundraiser, but why not? You don't think they can sell calendars? You don't think people will buy calendars? Who needs a calendar when you can pull up a calendar on your phone, right? But let's say it's a really fancy, really nice, artistic calendar. How many do they have to sell before they can make a profit? Rihanna? Over 200. Notice right here, if you make 200, it's gonna cost you 1,000. If you sell 200, it's gonna only make up for it. So what is this 200? There's a special term for this 200 calendars. In this situation where like your cost is the same as your income. Anyone taking accounting right now? Or business? Okay. When your costs and your income is the same, there's a term that we use. Yeah. All right. Starts with a B. R. B. A. There's the second word. B. Huh? Sorry? Break even. Right. So selling 200 is only gonna make you break even at 200 calendars. So why I emphasize on this is because in this case, that's what your answer should include, the 200. You have your 3-part answer, 1, 2, and 3. If you sell less than 200, what happens if you sell less than 200? You lose money. It's a loss. What if you sell exactly 200? That's break even. You don't make any money. You don't lose any money. And what if you can sell more than 200? You make a profit. That's right. Okay. We will get back to this later on, so keep this in mind. We will revisit questions like this. No, that's it. That's what the grade 9 course is about, like getting into real life situation, understanding the problems. Okay. So I know that you guys know how to write y equals mx plus b, but what does it mean? What does it teach you? Okay. Number 14, Mohini.
being out for more, and D, you need to rent a taxi to get from your hotel to the National Aquarium. The taxi company charges a flat fee of $3 for using the taxi and $0.75 per mile. Write an equation in slope intercept form that models this situation.
Okay, can you use meaningful letters rather than just X and Y?
If you want to.
Yeah. Okay, okay, so what's your equation?
I wrote y equals 0.75x plus 3.
Okay. Yeah. Or if you want to make it more meaningful, since this is a charge, so maybe usually we use capital C for total cost or charge. Don't ask me why. It's just they always use capital C in the textbook. So maybe I do 0.75 d for distance plus 3, something like that. Yeah.
If we do use y and x, we can open it up.
No, but later on when we get into more complex questions, you'll forget what does x represent, what does y represent. Okay, but it's just I want you guys to be comfortable with both. Okay, use your equation from problem 14 to calculate the cost for riding the taxi for 18 miles. Okay, where do I sub in that 18 miles then? For D, because it's distance. See how useful that letter is now? Okay, so C equals 0. Hey, I'm trying here. 0.15 times 18 plus 3. All right, so 0.75 times 18 plus 3. 16.5. What is that? Is this a good final answer? What would make it a 100% answer? What's my unit?
Dollars.
And if I were really picky? Yeah. Okay. If I were really picky. Sometimes. Depends on my mood when I mark your test. I'm kidding. Okay, number 16. Brian.
So it's negative 2,000.
Read the question first.
An airplane 80 feet above the ground begins descending at an equation to model the situation. Find the altitude of the plane.
Okay, so what's your equation?
Negative 2,000x. Y equals negative 2,000x plus 30,000.
90,000 x plus 30,000. Good job. Okay, because descending. So descending at this rate, that means this is my M. Oh. Well, that's way too fast. One too many zeros there. Okay. And then find the altitude of the plane after 5 minutes. So I'm going to replace the x. Whoops. I'm going to replace the x with the 5. Okay. So on your calculator, remember you can use calculators. So you would just simply do negative 2,000 times 5 plus 30,000. And you get this. What's my unit? Feet. Good job. Yeah, not dollar. Okay, one last thing I want to point out. Okay, Brian gave me this equation. What about this equation? Will this equation work? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like 1 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 1, right? So this and this is the same. If you wrote this, it's fine as well. Okay? All right, good job, guys. So no homework tonight. Yay. Yay. Assignment tomorrow, though.